We are still recording at Netroots Nation in Atlanta. And before we go, a couple more snapshots from the dystopian landscape that is modern America. A couple more reasons why we fight. A couple more indicators of the struggle we must come together and wage on behalf of the people of this country and this world. Number one, snapshot. ICE, that is, of course, the Immigration Service, has been accused, and I believe correctly so, of using children as lures to arrest their undocumented parents. This is, by the way, I'm not sure this began with Donald Trump by any means, but we are saying that people are using children to lure their parents by picking them up when they get off the bus, by detaining them, by asking their parents to come in and sign. Here's one case. Mr. Espinoza was requested to come to ICE offices in Hartford to sign some papers for his son, but was immediately arrested upon doing so. Mr. Espinoza had no criminal record in the U.S., and apparently he was fleeing persecution in Guatemala and would face an imminent danger of forced return there. Never mind, they used his kid to get him. That's the kind of people we're dealing with. That's the kind of people we must resist, whether they work for a Democrat or a Republican. We must not encourage this kind of behavior. We must encourage decency. Now, in a completely different corner of our dystopia, a headline from Bloomberg News, quants, that is to say people who do data analysis, quantitative analysis for the big banks, are clamoring for data, causing soul searching at large banks. The big banks want to do to you and me what Facebook and Google and the other companies are doing, which is plumbing our data in order to predict our behavior. Once the big banks, who are the most felonious organizations in the history of the planet, measured strictly on economic terms, are given access and the right to do this, the implications for the future are strictly terrifying. But what they're trying to do is get access to signals that would show how people are trading and what they might potentially trade on. So what they're doing is systematic investors are experimenting with, we're told, peculiar sources like satellite images or credit card transactions, and they also are trying to get access to obscure data sets within banks that aren't readily available. In other words, they want to take your personal financial transactions, they want to take even your movements through space and time and use them to do large-scale predictions of investment and all that. Now, this is two things. This is wrong, deeply wrong in two ways. One, if you're a conservative who claims to believe in the power of the market to make good decisions, the market is no longer making decisions about investments per se. It's just predicting human behavior with no concern for the actual value of what's bought or sold. And that is, in fact, what we have now for a financial industry. That is why jobs are being lost, and it's one giant electronically driven gambling casino with no connection to human reality. This will make it even worse. Secondly, the reason why this is horrible is because it is an utter trashing of our privacy and the giving of our most confidential data to some of the most malicious humans on the face of the earth, which is the United States banking industry and the global banking industry. This must be stopped because we cannot live in a world where we are enchained to our data. So I guess I would say, to paraphrase William Jennings Bryan, do not hang mankind on this cross of data, nor press down on its brow a crown of bits, or some words to that effect. Anyway, that's our program. I'm Richard RJ Eskow for the Zero Hour.